Welcome to another episode of the Untold Stories. Remember, if you are listening to the right stories, then you are listening to the Untold Stories. Today in this episode, we're going to talk about something that is the reflection of our identity. Our identity is nothing but a reflection of our strongest belief. But sometimes, when we face adversities, we let go to beliefs. But no matter what, we must not let our beliefs go. I won't let you go. Belief is the single most powerful force. When you believe, you can achieve. Great inventors believed in what they were doing. Although failure after failure came, they kept going, driven by the belief that what they were doing had to work. Success does not come from the belief that something can work, it is the belief that something must work. Belief is the fundamental platform upon which all great things are done. Yet you arrive at a belief only after a step-by-step process. Science is clearly based upon belief. Belief can be described as the state of mind that one must enter into before accomplishing great deeds. If you want to change the world, you need to believe. This wonderful story I read a long time ago resonates with me even today and helps me explain the belief. Once there lived a monk on an island in the middle of a river which flooded every 7 years. Travelers across the river would stop to pay their respect in return for the monk's blessing. Among them was a milkman who would always leave a pot of milk behind as his offering to the monk. One day, the milkman fell ill and his condition continuously declined. On his deathbed, he told his daughter to make sure she continues the tradition of taking the milk to the monk, as this was their way of serving the Lord. Soon, the old milkman passed away and the daughter continued her father's tradition as promised. As the rainy season started and water level began to rise, almost all boats stopped operating on the river. However, the milkmaid still managed to bring her daily offering of milk to the island for the monk. On one of her visits, the milkmaid asked the monk's advice on a dilemma. The rising water level would soon make it impossible for her to deliver the milk, but she wanted to keep her promise to her father. The monk told her to believe in the Lord and everything will be fine. Soon the flooding began, and as it got worse, water entered the island, submerging large parts of it. The monk realized he needed to leave immediately or he would die. As the milkmaid showed up with her daily offering, he asked to leave with her, assuming she had a boat they could leave on. To his surprise, the milkmaid walked toward the shore and began to walk on the water. "How do you do that?" he cried out. She replied, "You taught me to just believe in the Lord, so I did and I walked." The monk raised his robes and tried to follow her, but immediately fell into the water. "Why did I fall in, while you seem able to walk on water?" he demanded. The milkmaid answered, "You said his name, but you also lifted your robes so you could not get wet." Remember, this is just a mythological story and we are not here to discuss its veracity. The purpose of this tale is to help you understand the difference between faith and belief. When the milkmaid believed completely, she was able to do something incredible. People do incredible things every day. We all are where we are because of belief. Passion comes from belief. If the rest of the world does not believe in you, but you believe in yourself, you can make it happen. But if the world believes in you, but you don't believe in yourself, then even God cannot help you. Belief is fundamentally important to success. An abyss lies between the 1% of humanity, those who have accomplished great deeds, and the rest of the world. The 1% have successfully crossed over the abyss through the power of their belief. As you stand at the edge of the abyss, belief is the rope bridge that carries you over to the other side. A rope bridge that gets knocked by the winds, soaked in the rain, and hit by everything from hailstorm to icy rains as you try to cross over. As any mountaineer will tell you, crossing such a bridge is the ultimate test of one's belief. When you manage to climb a mountain, the mountain is just incidental. What you have overcome are your greatest obstacles, your fears and weaknesses. Will the journey be long? Probably. Will the challenges be great? Absolutely. But is it worth it? Without a doubt. This reminds me of another story. The story itself requires you to believe. A businessman was deep in debt and struggling to find a way out. Creditors and suppliers were demanding payments. Things were looking bad. He sat in the park deep in thought, wondering if anything could save his company from bankruptcy. Suddenly an old man appeared before him and said, "I can see that something is troubling you seriously. Perhaps talking about it would lighten your burden." The businessman looked at him. The old man seemed nice enough. He decided it would be healing to unburden himself even if everything seems so hopeless. He spilled out his troubles. After listening patiently, the old man said, "I believe I can help you." He asked the man his name, wrote out a check and put it into his hand, saying, "Take this money. Meet me here exactly 1 year from today and you can pay me back at that time." Then he returned and walked away as suddenly as he had come. The businessman in his hand received a check for $1 million signed by John D. Rockefeller, then one of the richest men in the world. "I can erase my money worries in an instant," he realized. But instead, the businessman decided to put the encashed check in his safe. Just knowing it was there might give him the strength to work out a way to save his business, he thought. With renewed optimism, he restructured his business, negotiated better deals, and extended terms of payment. He also managed to close several big sales. Within a month, he was out of debt and was making money once again. Exactly 1 year later, he returned to the same park with the same check. As agreed, the old man appeared. But just as the businessman was about to hand over the check and share his success story, a nurse came running up and grabbed the old man. "I am so glad I caught him," she cried. "I hope he has not been bothering you. He is always escaping from the rest home and telling people he is John D. Rockefeller." And she led the old man away by the arm. The astonished businessman stood there stunned. All year long, he has been pushing and dealing, buying and selling, convinced he has $1 million behind him. It is not the money, real or imagined, that turns our life around. It is our belief that gives us the power to achieve anything. Imagine what he would have been able to achieve had he not needed that check as a help and had the confidence to believe in himself and his abilities. Freedom that evolves from a belief in ourselves, a belief in a higher power, and a belief in a purpose higher than ourselves allows us to make these wide-ranging choices of living life to the fullest. Belief is like a rain cloud. It can fall light as a drizzle, but when channeled, it can become a mighty raging storm. You are the architect of your belief. You are the co-author of your destiny, and it is from belief that destiny is derived. You have what it takes to be successful. You don't need to learn from someone else. You are born with it. When you were sent, you were made by God. I don't believe that God made only some people to be successful and some to be failure. I believe that all of us were made to be successful. It is about time that you believe in it. It is about time that you believe in yourself. Don't let your belief go. I won't let it go. We will continue talking about belief in my next episode as well. Remember, if you are listening to the right stories, then you are listening to the Untold Stories. And if this episode has matched your wavelength, then share it with people who need it. And just in case you have the time, then you must listen to my previous episode, It Won't Let You Die Virgin, where I talked about how adversity can make you or break you. That's all from this episode. Remember friends, you too have untold stories to tell which can make a difference in someone's life, because certain untold stories are born out of certain lives and certain lives are born out of certain untold stories.